shot him, shot the driver, whoever the fuck he was. Shit, he like, the one I shot at first, he stumbled back, you know what I'm saying, like dropped, got back up like he was finna run. The one I hit second, you know what I'm saying, he raised up like he was finna do something, so I shot him in the head. You know what I'm saying? Then the other one, shit, shot him twice in the head. Just make sure, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? I don't need that shit. You know what I'm saying? Lay that shit down. You know what I'm saying? So me and my cousin ran their pockets. You know what I'm saying? Got the key, got their wallet and shit. Hopped in the driver, hopped in the passenger side. We did.
April 30th, 2026. Inside a small execution chamber in Huntsville, Texas. A man who once said, "Do it look like I got remorse," will take his final breath. His name is James Broadnax. He was 19 years old when he murdered two men for just $2. But what shocked the world wasn't just the crime. It was what he said after. He didn't deny it. He didn't hide it. He went on camera and confessed, laughing, smiling, no remorse. And even after being sentenced to death, he laughed again. June 18th, 2008. Dallas, Texas. 19-year-old James Broadnax and his cousin, Darius Cummings, were high. Not just high, they were on wet blunts, marijuana laced with PCP, a drug known to distort reality and strip away humanity. They wanted money, not for rent, not for food, for more drugs. So they made a decision. They would rob someone, but not in Dallas. Too risky. Instead, they took a train north to Garland, a quiet suburb. And according to Broadnax himself, that's where all the rich white folks stay. That same night, Matthew Butler was working late, 28 years old, a husband, a father of two, owner of a Christian recording studio called Zion Gate Records. To him, it wasn't just a business. It was a mission. Beside him was Swan, 26 years old, a sound engineer, a volunteer, a man known for kindness. They spent the night doing what they loved, making music. They had no idea they were being watched. Just after midnight, Matthew and Stephen stepped outside. That's when Broadnax and Cummings approached them. Not with a gun, with a conversation. "Hey, what kind of music do you make?" For 30 minutes, they talked about faith, about music, about life. The victims saw curiosity. The killers saw opportunity. Then, a simple question. "Got a cigarette?" As soon as the words left his mouth, Broadnax pulled out a gun. No warning, no hesitation. He fired. Matthew was hit first. Stephen dropped to the ground, but he wasn't dead. He tried to get up. That's when Broadnax aimed at his head and pulled the trigger again. Stephen stopped moving. Matthew was still alive, crawling, trying to escape. Broadnax walked over, stood above him, and fired 2 more shots into his head, execution style. After it was over, Cummings checked their pockets. A wallet, keys. Then he looked inside. $2. That was it. 2 men, dead. 4 $1 bills. Days later, Broadnax did something unbelievable. He spoke to the media. On camera. "I murdered both of them. No hesitation." He described the killings, step by step. Then came the question, "Do you feel remorse?" He looked straight into the camera and said, "Do it look like I got remorse?" And when asked what he'd say to the families, F*** them. Those words shocked the nation. In 2009, the trial began. The evidence was overwhelming. Confessions, stolen car, witnesses. There was no question of guilt. Only one question remained. Death or life in prison. The defense argued drugs, said he wasn't in control. But prosecutors pointed to the truth. This wasn't chaos. This was planned, calculated, cold. The jury returned a verdict, guilty. Then came sentencing. The victim's family spoke. A mother grieving her son. A wife raising children alone. And, as one of them stood there, pouring out her pain, James Broadnax laughed. Not quietly, not nervously. He laughed. Even the prosecutor would later say, he is as cold as they get. But this case isn't just about the crime. It's about the system. During jury selection, every black juror was removed. All 7. Years later, a document surfaced, a spreadsheet, where black jurors' names were bolded, highlighted, targeted. 2 U.S. Supreme Court justices later said, his rights may have been violated, but the court refused to hear the case. Now, after 16 years on death row, April 30th, 2026 has arrived. On death row, James Broadnax woke up for the last time. The same narrow prison cell he had lived in for over 16 years. The same walls, the same steel door, the same silence. But this morning was different. There would be no tomorrow. He was allowed a final meal. Reports indicate he requested a traditional comfort meal, including fried chicken, potatoes, bread, dessert, and a soft drink. Throughout the day, attorneys made final emergency filings. Supporters pleaded for clemency. Opponents demanded justice. The U.S. Supreme Court denied his last appeal. The Texas Board of Pardons and Paroles had already refused intervention. There would be no reprieve. The walk to the chamber that evening, guards came for James Broadnax. He was escorted from his cell in handcuffs, down the hallway, toward the death chamber, toward the gurney. Witnesses gathered behind glass. Among them were members of the victims' families, reporters, officials, and his wife, Tiana, who had married him shortly before the execution. Broadnax was strapped to the gurney, arms secured, legs restrained, needles inserted. He looked through the glass. Then he spoke. Final words. James Broadnax asked the victims' families for forgiveness. I prayed to God for your forgiveness. Despite what you think about me, I hope to God that prayer was answered. But he also maintained his innocence. No matter what you think about me, Texas got it wrong. I'm innocent. He spoke to supporters. He spoke of faith. He said he was at peace. Then he finished speaking. Witnesses reported that his wife cried out, I love you. Moments later, the lethal injection began. A sedative entered his veins. Broadnax took several breaths, then fewer, then none. At 6:47 p.m., James Broadnax was pronounced dead. He became the 3rd person executed in Texas in 2026. For the families of Matthew Butler and Stephen Swan, it was the end of an 18-year wait. For critics of the death penalty, it was another troubling case marked by controversy. For supporters of capital punishment, it was justice finally carried out. But no execution can undo June 18, 2008. It cannot bring back Matthew Butler. It cannot restore Stephen Swan. It cannot erase the grief of children who grew up without a father, or parents who buried their sons. And it cannot answer every question this case leaves behind. Did remorse ever come too late? Was justice fully served? Can a flawed process still deliver a fair result? One thing is certain. 2 men were murdered for $2. And nearly 18 years later, another life ended in the name of justice. Follow my channel for more true crime stories. See you on my next video.